Alrighty. So we'll start with some wins, Mimi.
Well, I finally tried on my size 8 jeans and they fit.
That's awesome.
So that was like
Congrats.
one of my big goals when I first started out 6 weeks ago. And they fit and they're comfortable and it just feels awesome. And then I lost like another like so I lost like 3 pounds this week, which is kind of crazy because it was the week of Christmas, and this is the one week where I did let myself have like a glass of wine, and I did let myself have a cookie. Um, but I had increased my protein a lot,
Mm-hmm.
so I really think that helped.
Yeah,
Just curb like all the cravings and everything. So I think the high protein um, nutrition plan is really working out well.
that's awesome, Mimi.
Yeah.
Really cool. Especially like you've been consistently losing like an average of, I guess, a pound a week so far. If you
Yeah,
average it
next to
all
two
out, right?
pounds, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or I'm sorry, 2 pounds a week, right? Yeah.
yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. Which is, I think we talked about before you signed, like before you start working in the program, like that's like 1 to 2 pounds is good, right? 2 pounds is like best because you're killing it. And I mean, you have been killing it. I give you a plan and you're logging your food religiously and it always looks like boom, boom, boom. And it's showing. So
Yeah,
awesome way to work, Mimi.
thanks.
And I love that you're now like flexing your diet a little bit because it is the holidays, having like that cookie, the wine or whatever, and still seeing results because you're fitting
Right.
it into your
Yeah.
nutrition. And as long as it's in moderation, right, it's going to be totally fine,
Right.
which is really cool.
Right. I'm not having a glass of wine and a cookie every night.
Yeah. If we don't do it every day, right, we just do it like, even if you do it like once a week like that, you can still see great results.
Mhm.
But like, I think you've been cutting it down to like just special occasions, which I think is a great
Right.
thing, which makes it even less frequent, which means
Mhm.
you're getting the best results.
Right. Yes. Yes.
So
Exactly.
now that we went over some wins, Mimi, let's hear, I guess, um, what is like a call for support like right now? Do you feel like there's anything that you would
Mm,
need
I don't
help in specifically?
know.
No, everything's going great. You're fitting in
Yeah.
routines.
Yeah. I think so. Yeah,
Yeah,
everything's going great. I mean, I feel like the plan's working like it should. I'm seeing results and really can't ask for anything else.
yeah. So I guess another question for you would be like, what would you think is like maybe the one thing so far that you've done that's made the biggest difference?
The biggest difference. Oof. Um, I mean, I think definitely just the high protein.
Cool.
And the high protein, which made me do 4 meals a day.
Cool.
Because before I was doing breakfast, lunch, and then it was such a big gap between lunch and dinner that I would just kind of snack throughout the day. But those snacks were like, I mean, I'd grab a bag of beef jerky or a cheesesteak or an apple, but that wasn't really just sustainable enough. So now I split up breakfast, lunch, and then I have a meal in between lunch and
Hmm.
dinner. And I'm able to just like have some chicken. Like today, I did something super easy. I did a can of tuna, 3 street taco tortillas, and an apple. And yeah, I mean, that's just like high in protein, low in carbs and fat. And I just, yeah, that's really made the biggest difference. I mean, I saw like a huge drop in weight this week. So,
That's great.
and that was
That's
with
awesome.
eating a cookie and some wine.
You're like, I added cookies and wine, and
I
now I
know.
lost even more weight than normal.
Yes.
Maybe that's the secret.
I know, right? So I think that's the biggest difference, cookies and wine. Yeah, no.
That's awesome, Mimi. I'm glad to hear that. Like, so how do you feel like the way you're eating now and like with the 4 meals, the more protein, having that flexibility, how do you feel like this is going to be after our 12 weeks? Like, do you feel like this is sustainable or do
Yeah,
you feel,
I definitely
yeah,
think it's sustainable.
that's awesome.
Um, I don't think I could ever go back to like just eating whatever, whenever. Um, I definitely feel like food tracking is so good because sometimes you feel like you don't really see, like today I've already logged some stuff for dinner, and I realized like I need to add more calories. Um, and I think that's really where it's important to like do it for a while. Like, I mean,
Hmm.
after 12 weeks, I'm not going to stop tracking because it's essential. You don't want to get too few calories to where your body goes back into starvation mode. So that's really huge. I feel like you were right. And one of our calls, you said that most people actually don't eat enough.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
and that is so true. Like, so even like when I was doing my Fitness Pal, and I said I wanted to lose like a pound a week, it had me doing like 1,600 calories, which I'm doing like 2,000, and I'm killing it. Like, I'm just losing 2 pounds a week. So I just feel like there's so much like misinformation out there.
Hmm.
And like my friend asked me about it. She was like, "Oh, I didn't know you were working with Jordan." And I was like, "Yeah." Like, she's like, "Well, what does he do?" And I told her like all the stuff that you did for us, and she's like, "Wow, that's amazing." Um, so it's not just like, you don't just give us a program. You're like, go like chicken with me whenever you want. You're like consistently just working with us like all the time. So that's great.
That's awesome.
I don't even know what the question was. I just like
I
rambled on. Sorry.
No, I love it. Thank you. Um, yeah. So I think the question was like, what was the thing that made the biggest difference? And I think it's hard to narrow it down to one thing, right? When it comes to like
Right.
fitness as a lifestyle, it's not ever just one thing. I think that's another thing that people get caught up in is they're trying to find the one thing to make their everything, be better when it's
Right.
not, right? Just one thing. For you, it was just one or two things that was really missing because you already worked out on a regular basis. You had a program that you were following already, and it was just adding that complement of knowing how to fuel your body properly and getting really into the nutrition and how to think
Right.
about it. Um, yeah, and I think another thing that is sometimes like, I think a lot of times, like you said, there's a lot of information out there, right? And you can get something that
Mhm.
maybe will work, but a lot of times it's like if you don't have someone walking you through on how to think about it and how to do it, it's really doesn't make a lot of sense, and therefore it's hard to
Right.
execute properly. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, so
Yeah.
that's awesome, Mimi. Thank you for rant. I like that rant.
Okay. Good.
And I think like obviously that work well for you, they will work well for other people too in a similar situation as you. So I think it's a good thing we're recording this because I think it'd be useful
Yeah.
for others as well. So
Yes.
Mimi, what are you looking forward to? I guess in a couple days, like after in the new year, 2020.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just looking forward to just continuing to like lose more weight and just start feeling better and just lighter and just, I mean, it's just amazing. Like, people are starting to like finally, like, people I haven't seen in a while. I actually went to like a baby shower Sunday, and my friend was like, "Wow, you look amazing." And I was like, "I've lost like 22 pounds like since July." Um,
Yeah.
and that's crazy because the most of it has been on this back end. Because before I was losing like a pound a week, and like you saw in my post, I didn't really change much. I was still eating a bunch of junk food and having a lot of beer. um, and then now I'm losing like 2 pounds a week, eating healthier. Um, so I'm just really excited to just finally get like all the weight I want off. And for me, it's just getting back to, not being overweight, and then like not being classified as obese. Cause like when I went to my doctor in November, like she put me in the obese category, and I was like, oh my goodness, that just broke me. So just getting to like a normal weight would be great. And I know that I'm definitely gonna achieve that like in the next 6 weeks. So
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
yeah, definitely. And then after
Yeah.
that, it's like new goals.
I know. Yes, yes, for sure. So now my new goal, since I've already accomplished the other two, is just another 12 pounds and another pant size. Because I really just want to get down to that 6 in my closet that has like the tags on it. Because I thought I could fit into that 6 when I ordered it, and I can't. So
Well,
yeah,
we'll get there. I think
yes,
what you said, like another 10, 12 pounds, another pant size is definitely doable at the rate you've been going, the way that you've been executing. I think it's totally realistic to get that before the next, like in the next 6 weeks, which is great.
yes, super excited. Yeah.
So Mimi, I think as far as mindset goes, did you watch my live today?
Did I watch what?
My live video today, the on
Oh, one about
persistence.
setting goals.
That, well, I think I mentioned that, but so like today's my live was on persistence, um, and I was wondering what,
I think
like,
I watched some of it.
yeah, I was wondering how has persistence helped you in this program, or has it been pretty easy?
No, it definitely has not been easy. um, if it was easy, I feel like everyone would be doing this, right? Um, and that's really where I feel like a lot of people fall short. It's because it's not easy. Like, I mean, you make a lot of sacrifices, but persistence, I mean, that's really like the key. It really is. You just have to keep at it. And I remember I was talking to my husband recently when I told him this week, I was like, I can't believe I lost like 3 pounds this week, or it was like 3.5 pounds. And he's like, remember when you were like moping around last Sunday because you hadn't lost like any weight that week? And it was like, seriously, like the next day I weighed myself and I had lost like a pound overnight.
Uh-huh.
So he's like, you just have to keep at it. You can't let yourself get down because you're not making any changes, or the scale didn't say what you wanted that week. You have to keep going. And that's really where persistence comes in. And you can't give up. You just keep going and trust in the program, trust that it's going to work. And, and if it's not working, then you make adjustments. And like, I know we've made a couple of adjustments to my diet, more than a couple. And so it's just really about just keep going, don't quit, and just know that you're going to get results if you do the work. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
The nail on the head. It's like when something doesn't work, so quote unquote, there's like one of two reactions, right? You could either like mope about it and
Yep.
just accept it, or you could say like, why and how can I change this so it does work, right? And that's where we've made those few adjustments. But I think like make the adjustments we made is more like fine tuning, right? Because I think since you've joined, it's been pretty really consistent, which is
Right.
awesome. So I loved your take on how persistence has been driving you forward, especially with like you said, like I think so many people fight with internal struggle of like they didn't make the gains they wanted to see that week or whatever it
Right.
is, and then so they just get mad
Yeah.
and like stop. Everything
Right.
stops, right?
Yeah.
And that's where when we're persistent, when you keep your why, your goals, like what the reason why you're doing this, and you actually trust what you're doing, and you think like, okay, this is going to work. After that, it's just like, all right, just keep going, right? Which is awesome.
Yes.
So, I know I have another question for you. I guess what would you tell someone like like your friend who asked about like the program? What would you tell someone who hasn't, um, you know, been in a program like this or had a mentorship when it comes to like nutrition or fitness, and who's someone like on the fence who wants to get healthier?
Right. So it's kind of funny because I don't know if it's the new year. Sorry, this little boy's trying to get me. I don't know if it's the new year, and everyone always makes fitness goals around the new year, but I have seriously had like 4 people come up to me and they're like, can you tell me more about Burn? Can you tell me more about like what you're doing with your nutrition? And I'm just like, I mean, it's work. I said, Burn isn't easy. As you know, it's not. And most people come in and they might have like 1 or 2 classes and then they just stop. I'm like, it's one of those things where you have to keep going. You have to be persistent. And like, so I've told them about Burn and stuff, just the general things. But the one friend that asked me about the nutrition part of it, she said, oh, well, I was thinking about doing this nutrition program through like, I forgot what it was. I think it was like maybe a health insurance thing, where she said it was for 12 weeks and then she would just log in through her my fitness pal, and then like every week send her progress off to somebody and they would check like her log. And now that I've worked with you, I was like, that just doesn't seem, I mean, that's not really like a program.
Yeah.
Because and she's like, well, what do you get with Jordan? I was like, well, for nutrition, I was like, we get like samples of what we can eat. We get like what your ideal day should look like, and it's not just one. It's, you know, if you ask for more, he'll gladly do that for you. You know, it's a lot more. Sorry, hold on. Okay, back. You know, it's knowing what foods to eat. It's him giving you lists of like high protein or carbs and fats and how to pair up things. Or and I told her, I was like, for me, I love Mexican food, and he's taught me how to enjoy Mexican food without going out to eat. And then like, I mean, it's when you go out to eat with Mexican food, it's like covered in fat pretty much. So, and I was like, we get support calls, we get one-on-one calls, we get group calls. It's like you message him anytime you want. Like, I know I've messaged you before I've gone out to eat and said, hey, like, can you look at this menu for me? Like, what can I have that's, you know, like what my friends call now Jordan approved. Because I went to eat last night. We went to a crustacean broil and grill. And it's like a seafood broil place.
Yeah.
And Ting, I think you know Ting from Midlothian, she was like, is this Jordan approved? I was like, yes, this is practically all protein. And I asked for no butter added. I was like, this is Jordan approved. So I just told her, it's like, it's a lot more than that. And you really do need the accountability part. I mean, just sending your stuff off to somebody is not going to work if you don't have someone checking up on you being like, hey, I see like your calories are low today, or like, how can we up this protein, etc. So yeah, I just pretty much told her, like, it's not just here you go, like here's like one thing. It's a lot of pieces that go into a program that make it great. So
that's awesome, Amy.
Yeah,
you're gonna be like you and Pam, like the fitness evangelists of Virginia.
yeah, it's being like, go to Jordan. I mean, I'm serious. People, you know, and I think people need to be at their breaking point to really you need to want it. And that's why I think that, you know, when you said you only work with certain people, and it's true, you have to get chosen into being here because you gotta want it, and you gotta want those results, or else you're not gonna do it. Yeah. And I have personally like offered so many friends like advice, or, you know, it's like, you know, increase your protein, like, you know how much you're eating a day? And they're like, no, I have no idea. Or like, I had too much wine or too many cookies. And I'm like, well, just try cutting back. And it's like, people really just don't want to hear it. They just want to vent about it, but then they're not seeing any results. And at a certain point, you just like start feeling bad, but you don't want to like keep like harping on them. Like, so it's a little frustrating because I guess we've been through this program, and you just want to help them, but I think people just really got to help themselves at the end of the day.
That's so true. I think it's a huge knowledge bomb you just dropped right there, a huge truth bomb. It's like, you know, no one can really like force feed you or make you go to the gym and move your arms for you, right? It's something that you have to do. And it's like, if you want it, there's resources, but you have to go out and get it, right?
Right.
Yeah. And that's why this program is definitely not like a cheap program. You just like, oh, I'll do it, you know, because I'm in the mood. And then so many people, I think, go out and buy like, you know, a cheap macro program off the internet and then never use it, never touch it.
Right. Right.
Like, and that's where doing this program, it's like, we're going to get stuff done.
Right. I mean, exactly. Like my husband was like, I'm not letting you fail because we dropped a lot of money on this. So I was like, okay, yeah, I get it. It's like, you're not gonna, you know, have like all the wine and cookies you want. So
It's
it's
awesome.
nice. And it's kind of funny because you know, he's been losing some weight too. Like he upped his protein. Like he doesn't eat anywhere near what I eat. Like I told you, he still doesn't really eat vegetables. Um but so he's like, one side effect of, you know, you're eating is like you buy the groceries and there's like nothing yummy to eat around here. He's
So
like, I think this is why I'm losing weight.
it's like even more like this residual, like it's the effect that you're having now with your health on other people now. It's really
Right.
awesome,
Yeah.
which I
Like
know is really important for you.
yeah, we went out to eat. Oh my gosh, we went out to eat on Saturday because my friend like made us, and it was a pizza place. And I made sure to check the menu to see if they had like just a grilled chicken salad, which they did, and that's what I had for dinner. Um, but our friends were like, "You're not gonna get pizza." I was like, "Nope." They're like, "Well, what are you doing with your diet, etc." I was like, "I'm just eating healthy." It's like it's not a diet. I was like, I just, you know, it really. I was like, it's a lifestyle change. And he was joking around with my husband, and he's like, "Oh, so you're losing weight too? Are you on a diet?" He's like, "No." He's like eating the pizza. He's like, "But she does the grocery shopping, so like I've lost a lot of weight."
Just by being
Just
in a good environment that you're now
right.
creating.
Yep.
Well,
Um,
I think I'm gonna stop our